So good to have you all here. Thanks for joining me. So we've got a centering practice which is going to be focused on our core and connecting in. And then we are going to move from center. So it's a little bit of activation and drawing into center. And then a socially distant yoga. Yes, I love it. Socially distant house parties. Yes, so let's get started. Thanks for being here. Coming into a comfortable seat. And just in this cross-leg position, we'll actually start with movement straight away. So heading off to your left side first and then circling around. And just getting this sense of a lower center. So the Sufi Circles, yes, there's this bigger, larger movement that's happening in the torso. And you can activate your breath as well. So maybe inhaling forward and exhaling back. And as you do this, you might notice down in your lower center, say just above the pubic bone and between the hip bones, that there's not that much movement happening. So this is the center that we're going to be working from and stabilizing our attention in. I do like bringing the awareness away from the head. The head can be a bit of a tangled mess at the moment, so nice to drop down out of thinking mind and into feeling body, and maybe let your mind, or signal your mind even more by just letting the head and neck go into the movement too. So you take the shoulder across to the opposite knee and starting to find a freedom through the head and neck. And then I'd like you to, after a few rounds, or maybe you're ready to stop now, but finding some stillness and coming into this vertical plumb line from crown to base. And finding the still point. So like the eye of a cyclone. I remember my daughter Sarah calling me up from the eye of the cyclone, just saying, wow, the stars are out and it's so still. So dropping into that stillness from crown to base, from crown to base, from base to crown, finding that still point. So this is a natural phenomenon, that there can be stillness even with chaos around. And just tapping into that as we move through our practice. So you can come on into a hands and knees position. And just connect to a couple of cat's breath movements, inhaling and opening through the front of the body. And exhale to round through the back, scooping the tail. Inhale to open through the front of the body. And as you exhale, just tap into that area above the pubic bone and just between the two hip bones, and draw that in as you exhale. Inhale to open. And exhale, really tuning into that lower center. Then with your inhale, extend the right leg back behind you. And just take a couple of pulses, just noticing what you notice here. Inhale to stretch back and extend. And exhale to coil in. So now hold the leg out for a moment and bring the left hand onto your lower back and actually deliberately drop that right hip down. And rather than pressing the right heel away, draw the heel in so you feel connected, like plugging a power cord into a socket. Your leg is connected to your core, and engage from center here. And just taking a few more pulses here. So exhaling in. Inhale to extend, and finding that just that same feeling of the hip dropping down and that there's a stability there. And one last time. Let's even extend the left arm out here and take a couple of pulses. Knee to elbow rounding. Inhale, but you're moving from center, not extending out too far, but allowing that movement to come from center. Then place the left hand down, bring the knee into the chest and step forward. And then inhaling the arms up into a low crescent pose. You may like to offer yourself stability by turning that shin across the mat a little to give yourself that stability. So inhale here, and rather than reaching out and extending too far, get a feeling of plugging in. So shoulders even drop down and plug in. And then we'll work with the breath. So exhaling to rock back. You could go hands onto the floor or a winged warrior. Inhale to lift. But all of this movement is coming from center, from your low core, the lower abdominal muscles. And exhaling. One last time, inhale, and with your exhale, you can stay low, bring the hands onto the floor and crawl forward, stretch that right leg back again, deliberately dropping the hip down and plugging the leg in. So this time, take the right leg out to the side a little, just hovering over the edge of the mat, and then drawing back into center and off to the side. And back into center. So stabilizing through the pelvis. Notice the tendency, the hip wants to lift, don't let it. So outer heel is pressing away. And then back into center, knee into chest. Extend the leg forward, lift the back leg. And then working with your arms now and plugging them into center. So inhale, lifts, and exhale, curling around. And as you do so, draw the back heel towards you. Inhale to expand out, but from an integrated, connected place. And exhaling, wrapping around, hugging in into safety. Inhale to open. And exhaling in. Draw that back heel in and connecting into center. So if you're able to now, maintaining the back leg straight and come into a plank. You could, of course, do it with the with the left knee on the floor. But if you're able to, in a plank pose, just start to take that heel out just above the edge of the mat and then back to center. And out. And one more time. Then come back through center and lowering yourself down onto your belly. Rise up into your Shavasana, so bring the hands back alongside the hips. Go palms down, and then get that sense of plugging in, like you're drawing the shoulder blades towards each other. And lift the legs, but plug them into your center as well. Feel the belly on the earth being held. And then lowering down, rise up into your back bend of choice. So maybe it's a sphinx, maybe it's a cobra. And exhaling down, rise up through a full or a half push-up and then back into downward facing dog. So in your downward dog, you can just press out, pedal out through the legs if you'd like to. Allow the breath to be full in the belly. So this is an art to have a diaphragmatic breath, yet with the exhale to have a little bit of activation through the lower belly. And then from here, let's practice a few of these. Inhale, lifting the right leg up, keeping the right hip down, maybe walk the hands forward a little so you can exhale forward into your one-legged plank. Inhale and come back into your three-legged dog. Hip stays square. And exhaling into the plank. Inhaling, stretching up. Of course, you could have the back knee down. And then coming forward one last time. Take both knees down. And finding your hands and knees again. Inhale to open through the front of the body. As you exhale, round. Inhale, sending the left leg back, and just take a few rounds to notice what you notice. Notice as you stretch the leg back, probably that hip opens. And that's going to be our awareness. So extend the leg back, bring the right hand onto the lower back, and feel like you could balance a glass of your favorite nectar. Those nectars are happening a bit too often for me. And squaring the hips around, rather than pushing back through the heel, get that sense of plugging in and back into center. And a couple of breaths here, exhaling, knee into the chest. Inhale, just out into that connected space. Send the right arm forward and pulsing forward and back. Expansion, but in a connected, moving from center. And in that extended place, you can then plant the right hand down, and stepping forward. So remember, you could cross the leg over. Inhale to lift and exhale, rocking back. So we're going to be doing similar movements to these, and you could, by all means, find these same shapes. But we're going to be doing them soon with the back leg lifted. So working in building momentum. From center, extending out to the fingertips. From center, condensing back in. Take the hands down either side of the foot and stepping back into that extended position. Notice the hip, it wants to lift, but drop it down. And then just moving the heel out and then back in. So keep the internal rotation there, moving like you're pressing from the heel or the outer ankle against a wall. And let all of that movement come from center. Okay, so then from here, come back through the midline and step the foot forward, straighten the back leg, and rather than pressing through the back heel, have it drawing in. Extend and open here, and then wrapping around back into safety. Inhale to open out, and exhaling back. So as you open, again, it's like you're connecting the dots all the way from that lower center. Pause for a moment, opening out. And then release the hand down, and optional, you can do hands and knees or that plank pose again. Extending and taking the left leg above the edge of the mat and back in. But you want zero movement through the lower back, zero movement through the pelvis. And you can only do that when you're in that connected way. Feel free to keep the leg lifted as you lower down. Rise up into your back bend of choice. Oh, again, I'm loving Cobra, just such a nice opening. You can then rise back up and into your downward facing dog. And we'll take the left leg and extend it up, three-legged dog. Remember, you might need to go into a longer stance to come forward and into your plank. One-legged plank. Inhale, up and back, and exhale, plank. One last time. Great. Lower the foot down and lowering the knees down. Sitting back onto the heels for a moment. and just connecting in with your hands. So placing hands onto this lower belly and lower back area. And I'm so surprised she's not lying down on the mat. So you still want a full breath in the belly, but a feeling of everything moving from center. Okay, let's take it into a standing flow. So planting the hands, press back into your downward facing dog. And again, you're going to want that nice long dog. She's all right. She'll settle in a second. Inhale and stretch the right leg up to the sky. Exhale now, tiger curl. Inhale, stay in your plank, send the leg back. And exhale, take the foot out to the side. Inhaling, stretching up and back, three-legged dog. So we'll do this twice more. You can do it with the knee on the floor. Inhale, extend the leg out. Exhale, foot to the side. And then back through center and inhaling into your three-legged dog. Exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, send it back. Still in plank. Exhale, leg to the side. Back through center and stretching up. Great. And then step the foot forward all the way to the hands. Inhaling to stretch the arms to the sky. And then as you exhale, coming back and into a pardon, I've done that wrong. So inhale, straighten the front leg and lift through the back heel like you're sucking up through straws up to center, and then exhale into a winged warrior shape. Inhaling to scissor the legs together, draw up, but the arms are drawing down to center, and exhaling. Last one. And then go hands into Namaste and twisting yourself around into a revolved Parshvakonasana, which could be hand to the floor, which could be back knee on the earth as well. So finding your sweet spot here, like the spinning top that appears motionless. Have that same sense of, yes, there's this swirling going on around, but there's that central channel that's still and connected. Good job. All right, release the hands down and stretch back into your three-legged dog. This time walking the hands back. So you'll come into a Vira 3 shape, still with the right hip dropping down. So maybe hand onto the lower back to check in there. Extend the right arm, left arm long and pulse a couple of times. Exhale, curl in. Inhale to stretch out. And as you extend, that it all comes from center. You can then release and touch the foot down. Come through a spinal roll and bring yourself up to stand. Palms touch overhead and hands back into Namaste. And finding that plumb line, that vertical plumb line from crown to base, that plumb line of stillness. No matter what's going on around, that essential nature, that changeless, flawless essence of you, stay centered in that. And then let's switch on to the right foot and lift the left leg up to the sky. So from your center, extending and lifting, just the knee lifts, and then exhale and back into a Vira 3 type shape. Feel free to have the hands on the floor. Feel free to touch the earth if you need to borrow her stability, no problem. Inhaling, last one. Inhale to lift and exhaling, stretching back. And then stretching up. You can bring the leg over and into a easy standing pigeon position, so figure 4 shape. We're not going to hold here though. Let's inhale and lift back up, and exhale the foot back down onto the earth. Switching, right leg lifts, inhale. Exhale again down into your pigeon type shape, standing pigeon shape. And you can stay here, or if you wanted to try a flying pigeon, you're welcome to. So finding what's most nourishing and centering for you in this moment. And then rising up and just rearranging that foot into tree pose. So you've got right foot to the inner thigh. And from your inner ankle to just above your pubic bone, imagine taking a zipper and zipping up. Press the thigh and the foot together and feel how solid and connected you are in the lower body. If you wanted to, you could extend the arms out as an expression of that, but that's up to you. Maybe it's more centering to stay in your namaste. And then slide the foot across. So we're going to move into a tree variation of side planks. So moving through this standing pigeon, come forward into a plank, rearrange the foot if you can, and you're in a side plank on the left side. Still zipping up through the inner thigh to the core and expanding in a connected way from core. Then lower the hand down. If you can, keep the right knee lifted. Let the knee be the last thing to touch as you lower down. So we're in this 90-90 position of lizard pose or goanna, and simply turning from side to side. Whether it's with your breath, whether it's with eyes closed, again, just allow it to be centering for you. You can come back around through center, send the right leg back and reach back if you can with the left hand. So going contralateral. If that's too much, right hand is fine. So a half bow. And this pose is one that tends to just throw you off center. So it may be that you need to lift the other arm and leg so that you can maintain center, that feeling of symmetry. So finding symmetry even in an asymmetrical position. You can then release and touch down, rise up into a back bend. Oh, it's a glorious day. Who'd have thought? And finding your downward facing dog. You could take some twisting movements here, connecting from crown to base and twisting around that axis. You can then come back through your downward facing dog, but it needs to be a long dog, so like a dachshund length. Inhale your left leg to the sky. 3 breath cycle. Exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, you're in plank, stretch the leg back. Exhale the foot just off to the side and inhale back into 3-legged dog. Feel free to do this with the knee on the floor. So exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, stretching back. Exhale, foot off to the side. And inhaling, 3-legged dog. And one last time. Tiger curl. Making sure that that leg remains deeply connected to the core, to your center. Inhaling to stretch up and back. And then step the foot through to the space between the hands. Inhale to straighten the front leg, lift onto the back heel and scissor the legs together, and then exhale into this winged warrior shape. So even though you're reaching up and drawing up, you don't want to overdo it through the arms and the spine. Still have that sense of moving up and down into center, from center. With this last one, you can go namaste hands and then twisting around into your revolved Parsvakonasana. And have a sense of leaning back. It's almost like a baby cobra here through the upper back. Not so much throwing the head back, but moving your entire center back. And aren't we all doing that? Trying to find and navigate this new normal. How can we be centered in the constant changing environment? Okay, let's release down. Stretch back into your three-legged dog and then walking back. But again, we're looking for the hips to be square. So maybe take the right hand up and dropping the left hip down more than you think you need to. You can stretch the right arm forward and we'll pulse 3 times. Exhale. And inhale, extending out. So elbow and knee touching. Then lengthening. Find the extension for a moment with that feeling of it coming from center. And then release and touch the foot down from a standing forward fold at the back of the mat. You can emerge in a way that brings you delight. And pausing here, whether hands in namaste or alongside the body, but tracing that beautiful line from the crown to even the space between the feet. Could be like a fluorescent tube of light. There could be any color. Centered, stable, solid in yourself. And then taking that centered experience and transferring over to the left foot as the right leg lifts up, right knee lifts, arms lift, and exhale back into Virabhadrasana 3. And pulsing back and forth here, but as you do it from center, notice the stability that's there. Like the spinning top that's perfectly balanced, that appears motionless. Inhale up, exhale into your standing pigeon position. And then lifting back up, you can release down. We'll come back into the standing pigeon on the other leg. So inhaling to lift left leg and coming down. Optional to come into the crow. Flying eagle, Galavasana. Entirely optional. And then you can rise back up and find yourself in tree pose. But it's not just hanging out here and sitting in the joints, but rather this real feeling like one of these great trees that has an incredible root system that just draws everything, all the nourishment up from the earth and drawing it into your center. You could extend the arms out as an expression of this. or not. So then take that steadiness, cross the leg over again, and let's find your plank pose with the tree legs. Flip over into your side plank on the right hand. Keep that zipping up from foot to hands and feel that connectedness, and that it brings a balance and a lightness. You can then lower the hand. Ideally, let the knee touch last as you come down. Again, finding that meandering with your belly on the earth. Just an easeful side to side, the way a goanna loops through the forest. And we'll take that half bow position, so sending the left leg back. Optional to go contralateral. Right hand catches left foot, or sticking with your same arm, same leg, but finding the symmetry. What can you do to hug everything into the midline? Feel that center holding you strong. And then from here you can release and touch down. Rise up into your back bend, maybe taking the hands off the mat a little. And exhaling down. Rise up just through your hands and knees. And then sitting back onto the heels, you can take child's pose for a moment. Again, just that sense of everything coming home, coming back in, not the whirl of thoughts in the head, even though we know thoughts aren't localized in the head, but this dropping down into a deeper sense of yourself. And the sweet relief that that brings. So we've got a little bit more to do. We'll take that same flow that we did with the three-legged dog to plank. Remember, you can just do it with the knee on the floor. So either down dog or hands and knees, and inhaling the right leg back. So you're in down dog or hands and knees, and exhale, tiger curl, knee into the chest. Inhale, stretching the leg back. And exhale, just taking the foot out to the side, kicking the heel out, and inhaling. Let's all come back into this downward facing dog now with the three-legged dog. And then exhale, tiger curl, knee into the chest. Take your pigeon pose, and rather than collapsing into pigeon pose, let's be more upright and scissoring the legs together and drawing in. So this may or may not be right for you, but if you're able to, get that sense of like straws slurping up and connecting into center. And if you can, stretching the arms up. So you won't be feeling so much of a stretch, it's more of an activation, which is going to make the dissolving and melting into the pose, into pigeon pose, even better. So exhaling and folding yourself in. Folding the soft belly now over the back over the calf. Slacken the jaw. And just 2 more breaths here. Melting, softening. Peeling the weight of the world off the shoulders. And And then you can slowly make your way back up, either through hands and knees or to your downward facing dog. And with your inhale, stretching the left leg up into the sky. Three-legged dog or hands and knees, hips stay level. And exhale, tiger curl. Inhale, stretch the leg back. You're still in plank pose. And exhale the foot off the edge of the mat. Inhale back up into your three-legged dog. And exhaling forward into your pigeon pose. Again, we'll be active here, so keep the back toes tucked. And scissor the legs together and drawing in and up. And the arms extend, but it's not like you're trying to reach for something beyond you. Just have this sense of connectivity and drawing in and the stabilizing that happens there. And then folding like a swan dive if you can, folding forward and down, melting in. Letting the breath be soft now, letting everything be soft, so that you can feel the residual energy of working in this way, with this awareness. As everything that is extraneous drops away, you can, what is left is revealed. That stainless, flawless essence of you. We will emerge by coming up and bringing that right leg around and taking the soles of the feet onto the earth. And then have the feet as wide as the mat, and let's do beach pose. Beach pose, it's very advanced. All right, and then rocking side to side. So you can inhale to one side, exhale to the other side. So your feet don't need to move, you just keep the feet stable now. And the movement happens around that. And then at some point you can come down onto your elbows. This is the other beach pose variation. And then eventually sliding the elbows out to come down onto your back, and again feeling that central channel from crown to pelvic floor. And the knees can wash from side to side. And there's this ringing, clearing, or maybe it's like a polishing that central channel that has always been there. Like the eye of the cyclone, that pure stillness, which you can then drop into now by extending the legs out and taking yourself into Shavasana. If you feel there's something else that you want to do, then you are most welcome to. And as you feel your back body touching the earth, you can allow a feeling of deep relaxation to wash over you. And And as you take in the sounds around you, that they can relax you even deeper still. And as you notice the effortless ebb and flow of the breath, and particularly the exhale and a slight pause, the inhale and a slight pause, that this can allow a deeper softening, an effortless letting go, and it feels so good. So good to relax deeply. And in this profoundly restful space, sense that every single cell of your body is illuminated with strength, with vitality. Sense that this calmness, this being centered and solid in yourself is always present. It's always there. Like the spinning top. The outer movement appears still. In these last few moments, soak up completely. Let yourself be drenched with this experience. Whatever it is for you. For some it's calm, this balanced ease. Maybe it is that vitality and strength, feeling robust, so robust in your center. Like that last morsel of delicious dessert, or said nectar. Just savor these last few moments. Drink them in. And as you prepare to move, feel that nothing needs to change. what you have awakened within you now, you can carry with you into your day, into your weekend, into all your interactions. Allow your breath to start to lengthen. Lightly touch each thumb in turn to the fingers. Wiggling the toes. And you might like to stretch long from this center, extending the arms overhead, or you might like to curl into a little ball, but making your way up to a seated position. And joining the hands together in Namaste, let's trace this central channel. So you can release the hands down and out and bring the palms to touch overhead. And exhale the hands down through this central channel, down low. And inhaling and coming back up through the central channel and circling the hands back around and into Namaste. And let us send our blessings out now. So I really love doing the arm movements. You don't have to, but just this feeling of benevolent blessing. May you be happy. Wishing health and strength and courage to family, to friends. I'm sending it to you all. To those who are suffering right now, may you know ease, may you know peace, may you know health. And blessings out to those who have passed. May your transition be peaceful, be ease-filled. May you be well. And to all beings across the entire planet and beyond, may all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. Namaste. Thank you all so very much for creating this energy here today, feeling hopefully centered and calm and ready for